In this video, we will be discussing our plan to complete our project on the analysis and application of Midwestern energy transitions to Wyoming. For some background, Wyoming's economy has long been heavily dependent on the coal industry. According to Wyoming Mining Association, Wyoming has been the top producer of coal since 1986 and produces 40% of the nation's coal. In 2018, coal mines employed approximately 5,534 people in Wyoming for a payroll total of about $625 million. This number was already down from the 2011 peak of almost 7,000 employees. The industry's financial contribution to Wyoming in tax, royalties, and fees was over $790 million in 2018. As the economy continues to shift away from coal to supply society's energy needs, Wyoming communities continue to be impacted. Coal mines have employed a large portion of Wyoming's population. Many of these workers may have never pursued secondary education or been trained in any other industries. Many Wyoming families rely on coal jobs for financial support. Understandably, one of the major concerns within the wicked problems that is the energy transition is how we will support coal mine employees, their families, and our communities while taking away one of the state's largest sources of revenue. This energy shift is in part a result of the rise in natural gas demand we have seen in recent years. It has a low price, large abundance, and has a lower CO2 emission rate than coal. All the while, we have seen increasing concern around greenhouse gas emissions and their effect on the climate. Burning coal releases CO2. As a greenhouse gas, CO2 traps infrared radiation and in our atmosphere, which leads to the warming of our planet. This warming can have significant consequences for our society and our environment. Coal is no longer economically viable, nor is it a wise choice for us as an energy fuel as we continue to combat climate change. For these reasons, we know that the coal industry will continue to decline. As we have seen, this problem encompasses many aspects such as society, economy, and environment. Any and all solutions to this will require an interdisciplinary approach and collaborative efforts. Many states have already begun the transition away from coal and diversified their energy portfolio. Meanwhile, Wyoming has been trying hard to cling to the mineral that has brought it so much prosperity for so long. This has put us behind the curve. Fortunately, this also puts Wyoming in a position to be able to learn from other states and better approach our energy transition.
The core idea of this project is to look at different strategies of Midwestern states going through energy transitions and try and apply their strategies to Wyoming. Since Wyoming is behind the national trend in this energy transition, it only makes sense to learn from states and communities that are further along. The Midwest has a much higher population than Wyoming and therefore uses a lot more energy. The Midwest is a larger consumer of energy than producer of energy. The Midwest at first glance may not seem like a good example region to try and model Wyoming after. However, the Midwest is a large producer of energy and therefore has a large job market around it. There are communities in the Midwest that are completely based on energy, just like in Wyoming. The main stakeholder of this project is the Powder River Basin Resource Council. The objective is to ask the Resource Council what their main gaps in information are and then try and gather information about the topic in the Midwest. Our early thoughts on information gaps are policy, technology, and social aspects. The policy aspect focuses on government, legislation, and subsidies that the Midwest region uses to promote cleaner energy production. The technological aspect focuses on the shift from heavily polluting infrastructure to cleaner infrastructure. The social aspect looks at communities with large stakes in the energy field with a focus on job retraining. The hardest part of this project is the ability to understand the different areas of the country. We need to know Wyoming as well as the Midwest to effectively communicate this project. Brianna is from Wyoming, while Danny and Sam grew up in the Midwest and then moved to Wyoming for school. This will give us more of an insight to both places, but we still need to narrow down our project to be successful. The plan is to narrow down the project beginning with stakeholders. Our main stakeholder is the Powder River Basin Resource Council. The specific stakeholder will help us focus on specific information that will help them with their process. Our group has to be refined as the project continues. Our group will learn more on the topics. The project has specific stakeholders and specific topics, but a large pool of information to pull from. The Midwest contains 12 states and countless small communities. There is state government, local government, non for profits, coalitions, and tons of universities. All of these sources have different strategies to deal with the energy transition. Our group hopes to find the best strategies to apply to Wyoming.
We will be utilizing many different methods to complete this project. We will be reviewing scholarly articles as well as policy decisions made by Midwestern cities and states throughout the semester. We may also reach out to different individuals or institutions and see if they would be willing to conduct interviews over the phone or through video conferences. We will be researching different aspects of energy transitions, including policy, social, and technology throughout the different Midwestern states. We will be splitting these different topics among the 3 group members, with Brianna researching technological aspect, Danny researching the social aspect, and Sam researching the policy aspect. Although we are all researching different topics within energy transitions, we will be meeting regularly in order to discuss what we learned and incorporate that into our project. Here we have a table of interview possibilities and when, why, and how they would be conducted. We will also keep an eye on different Wyoming state and local government meetings that may be applicable to our research. Some of our potential interviewees are George Gross and Pete Sauer of the University of Illinois, representative from the Powder River Basin Resource Council, a representative from various Midwestern State Department of Natural Resources, and a representative from the Midwest Renewable Energy Association. For our timeline, during week 7, we will set up interviews. Week 8, we will do literature review and interviews. Week 9, more interviews and a project mentor meeting. Week 10, we will compile data into a draft document. Week 11, we will begin work on the final presentation. Week 12, we will submit a draft for feedback. Week 13, submit final document. Week 14, final presentation and reflection. Throughout the remainder of the semester, as we advance our research and develop our energy transition plan for Wyoming, we will periodically reach out to our project mentor, Sarah Brodnax, for guidance. Sarah has an expansive background in policy and is especially well-versed in environmental issues. As a group, we would like to consult Sarah before conducting our first interview in order to make sure we have prepared properly. Before the interview, we will do research on our interviewee and put together a list of questions. We will ask Sarah to review our questions. We also hope that she will be able to provide us with feedback on our deliverables as we go along, in order to achieve the best product at the end of the semester.